I think it's hard to recognize that we're all trying so hard to like exude this idea that we are confident and content and happy. We're so much of life, and I think especially since I still haven't even fully grasped the 2 years of COVID that happened. It was a really pivotal moment in my life where I was graduating college around COVID. I graduated college in 2020, right as COVID was hitting. So I didn't even have a college graduation ceremony. I just had an online Snapchat filter that moved the virtual tassels, a 10-second clip that I shared among family and relatives, and oh, that sucked. And all my kind of internships where I was working with a local newspaper. I was working with different companies on videography stuff. Everything went to shit. And then 2 years of just being isolated and alone sucked because I got broken up with over text, 1,400 miles away from home, in a 2-year relationship at the end of 2020. So that was after I graduated college. Couldn't really find a job in writing because all the newspapers and everything were doing either furloughs or layoffs, and I eventually started my own company for doing videography, photography, and whatever. And certainly at the beginning I struggled so much with like trying to be like, oh, I'm making it as like my own self-made person, but I always like struggle with just being able to figure out everything when you're doing, like, I didn't want to be an entrepreneur, and it was a scary thing, and that's just kind of the path I've had since 2020. I even just struggle with just kind of outwardly presenting sort of just a confident, content person, because I don't know, I just feel like my life was thrown in such a spiral, and yeah, everything's been super weird since then. But that's why I'm trying to do the daily journaling again, doing daily live streams, and just in my personal life trying to get out a little bit more. I just had so much time of just isolating myself, being alone. And that sucked. It's easy to think that other people's lives are perfect compared to ours. Just so effing true. Just looking at like other people who either graduated college at different times than me, or graduated college at the same time but they had a different route in life, and even people now, if they're in similar situations with that I am in, I'm just always looking at other people's life like, how the hell are you so happy? How are you so content? And I think the biggest thing for me, as I've had to get over a hell of a lot of addictions over the last 3 months, 4 months, it's almost 4 months. One of the biggest ones that I struggle with right now is just struggling with the addiction of technology. Technology is a huge, huge part of my life. And I don't think that technology has this innate negative life suck energy to it. I think that technology has been a huge part of my life in good and bad ways. And I certainly have found so many ways to influence my life with technology in a better way, to have a social life during the pandemic, where I was able to find like online communities, and then even my own on TikTok. And I think online doing this, being able to, like I did at the beginning of stream, just being able to practice guitar, sharing my guitar journey on both of these guitars, and then hopefully with my reading and writing, just being able to share what I'm reading. This series is so good, this Murderbot series, and certainly what I'd love to do with my life is just have these passions that I have an outlet for them, for people that have similar passions. And And even with video games, I don't think that they're innately bad, but I'm constantly allowing myself to just like oh, it's near the end of the day, or like maybe at the beginning of the day I'll just play like a little bit of something just to pass the time, because I'm usually alone, usually just trying to figure out how to manage my day, and I'll just find myself playing a couple hours of a video game, and I'm like, all right, now I can get to this other work that I want to work on, this project, this YouTube video, this whatever, and then I'll work on that YouTube video for a few hours, and then either the audio of it I'll mess up, or the video of it, even though I went to college and did so much with video, I still end up finding ways to mess that up, and then I feel like shit. I feel like I'm imperfect. I feel like everything that I'm trying to do is too difficult, that I'll never work out. But I think a lot of just what I'm trying to say is just to be able to slow down my life, to be able to actively appreciate the parts of me that I think are good and what I'm good at and that I'll constantly be learning. But yeah, I think just the hardest thing is just recognizing that this point in my life is tricky, and the goddamn COVID whirlwind that I was through in was something that I couldn't have perfectly managed, and it's okay for the mistakes that I made and all that pain that I went through during those years. I just gotta find therapeutic ways to get through it, which is how I got in guitar in the first place. Got broken up with, came back home, dad was diagnosed with cancer. That's when I ended up getting that Baby Martin guitar, that little one. But life's confusing, and I don't know what the hell I'm doing, but just like to at least be happy, and I'm so grateful for the TikTok community that I found, and whatever I can make of this YouTube page. I think it would just be a lovely way to spend my days, to be able to share my guitar for anybody that's interested in music, reading, writing, my creative kind of muse, where I'm just constantly trying to read and write. I'd like to share more of that. What I'm struggling with, because I think we're all struggling with so much that we do not outwardly talk about. And whenever I try to talk about it, I just get teary-eyed and, typical boyish stuff. Don't let myself cry, and I do not let myself most of the time feel the big emotions that I try to avoid. So yeah, I just gotta fake it till I make it, and eventually I think maybe in a couple months I'll be able to do full playthroughs of music on my guitar, and I can do like covers of those. But as of right now, playing guitar for the hour or so earlier, my fingers hurt. But it's one of the best therapeutic things that I know. Getting that guitar a couple years ago, or almost a couple years ago now. I feel better after almost making myself cry. Still not able to be fully vulnerable with myself, and on these live streams, if it feels natural to cry, I should probably allow myself to do it, but I've still got that toxic masculinity within me, so will I allow myself to cry? No. Yeah. Usually the only thing that honestly makes me cry is doing these journaling sessions. I might find that there's like something that I didn't realize that I had to talk about, and then I start journaling and I'm like, oh boy. Whew. I do feel better though. I do feel better, and that's pretty much what this book does to you. And there's other ideas in this book that are similar to that, just along the lines of perfection and of trying to find gratitude in your life when you're feeling depressed and feeling down. The constant need of approval from others, of trying to avoid judgment, of just finding self-worth. Thank you, Autumn. Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, Jesse. Thank you for all the love.